So I was playing against this Class A player tonight. So I stand to win quite a lot of points if I beat him. Even if he beats me and I beat him, I will win more points than he will win off of me because I'm a Class B player. That's how it works. So he's got more at stake than I have, but I also have to play very defensively because obviously he's going to see my mistakes more easily than I will. And he comes up with this, I think this is the Sicilian. He's very powerful, very aggressive defence, and then he pushes, really pushing. And what he's basically looking for is to just not let me castle, crush me with pawns, and he is looking to trap my pieces by my pieces being too far forward, trap them in a web of pawns. He's also looking to just basically win pawns in the exchange, so that he's like one piece up or 2 pawns up or something, and then just go to a tedious end game. And I strongly dislike this style of play. I strongly dislike this style of play. He of course castles kingside because he's boring.
En passant.
Oh, we have an en passant there. And he's just looking for the edge all the time. He's always looking for the tiny edge. And it just annoys me. And then he's squeezing me.
Kingside castle.
Castle's kingside. Won't let me get out of there. Probably should have retreated the king at this point.
Check.
Instead, I gave him a free knight. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I should have just retreated the king. But anyway, that looks like that was my big mistake there, because at this point it's actually not that bad. A couple of rooks and a bishop. Sorry, a couple of knights and a bishop. 2 rooks each, a queen each. I've got 5 pawns. He's got 6. He's only got a 1 pawn advantage, and I don't actually think his rooks are very well coordinated. Yeah, maybe I would have had a chance, but this was a big mistake, as I say.
Check.
Gave him a gift with check, and after that it all just fell apart because he had that revealed check on the queen. I nearly missed that. Couldn't capture his knight with check there, unfortunately. And after this,
check.
This all just comes apart.
Check.
He then did a massive
check.
dramatic. I moved here, and he just waited and waited and waited and waited and wouldn't do the final.
Checkmate.
And that annoyed me quite intensely. So I have resigned before he had a chance to do the checkmate. That was the game. Stupid bloody adverts. And then we had our game, our return game, which I will show you. I hope you didn't see the checkmate position there. Was it checkmate? No, it wasn't checkmate, I don't think. We shall see. He comes back with white pieces. It happens to be the same player. It wasn't a return match, just happens to have allocated the same player. And as you see, straight away, keeping it tight, keeping it small. Rat defence, French defence, small defence. Him, the opposite, push, push, push. Keep it tiny, just matching him pawn for pawn here. He's got a dark square pawn, I've got a dark square pawn, he's got a light square pawn, I've got a light square pawn, just matching it pawn for pawn. Bringing the bishop out, not the knights, just the bishops. They can advance 1 square into the middle. And this is what I like to do. And then just bringing out another dark square pawn there. You see how I've got the same number of darks that he has. But my structure's a little bit nicer. And then fianchetto. And let's just force the exchange pretty much with this move. And he blocks it like this, and that will be a weakness of sorts. And out comes my knight, really just because I want a castle.
Kingside castle in.
Although I did entertain the idea of staying in the middle, because I am comfortable playing in the middle. And I thought that the exchange on this square would be particularly good because his white bishop is unmarked, and if he moves that pawn, so he's only actually got 1 pawn he can recapture with here. So he does this. I think he was expecting me therefore to take here, which I didn't. I took here. And I thought I had a pawn fork there, but I didn't quite, because that pawn is actually twice marked by that knight as well as the bishop. So we didn't have a pawn fork. But after this and this, actually, somehow the material is even. I don't know how, because I thought I'd lost a pawn in that, but I hadn't. And now I had to do this, though, because he's put his queen in the middle here, and he's going down a very well-trod path that these slightly more advanced players go down, of just demolishing the rooks in the opponent's camp by exploiting all these queen forks. So the first thing we have to do is move this pawn forward. Now he comes with his knight here, so the next thing to do is to just shut his queen out. Just shut her out of the whole deal with that. Can't take it en passant, he hasn't got a pawn there. So that just shuts her out, and she comes back to here. Now, I can castle at this point, but I decided, instead of castling, I would put my bishop to defend the pawn here. And this was the move that proved fatal for my opponent, because this isn't normally where the bishop would be. The bishop would normally have ended up somewhere like maybe here, or it might have fianchettoed, but this is a bit unusual for it to be sitting here like this. Sometimes they'll try and trade it off, but you see, of course, he can't get his bishop over to trade it off. So he comes with this check, and now this is where he is just playing by the colour by numbers trap book, and it backfires on him because I've got a piece on an unusual position. See, I like to just advance the pawns by one square and bring my bishops into the middle when I do these rat defences, and I find them very effective, not least of all because pieces end up on unusual and unexpected squares. So watch what happens next. This fends him off quite nicely. Now, normally what he should be doing is coming to here. Not that he can do a lot from there, I have to say, but it stops me from castling, if that's what he wants. Instead, he goes with this, and of course, this often wins the rook with check, but on this occasion,
Check.
it loses his queen, and he instantly resigned. Now, I have used that same knight move many times myself. It's not only is it setting up a revealed check, but it also can't be taken normally because the bishop isn't normally guarding that rook. So, yeah, that was funny.
Check.
The most satisfying just to laser that queen away with the bishop. And I think I got 7 points up. I think I lost 7 points, and I lost 3 points, I think, on the first game against him, and then I won 7 points. So I'm 4 points ahead for that.